Okay, simplifying a negative square root. We're going to be using our imaginary unit I. So remember, I squared is defined as -1, and therefore I is equal to the square root of -1, or the principal square root of -1. So let's rewrite our radicand. So -1 times 432. Okay, so that's the same thing as the square root of -1 times the square root of 432. And you may have already know what to do now. You may not have had to written this step, but I'm going to show it to you anyway. The square root of -1 is I, remember. And now our I has come out, and then we have the square root of 432 left. Now that's the main step, and you might have could just gone straight to that step. You know, you lose your negative inside of the radical or inside of the square root, and then you gain an I on the outside of the square root. So we're not done. We have to simplify our 432, the square root of that. So let's do some factor tree. 2 and then 2, 15, 16, 216. Yes. 2 and 108. Yes. 2. You might have to go by twos. I mean, I'm just doing that because 54. 2. Oh my goodness. 25, 26, 27. Okay, now we can't do a 2 anymore. 7, 8, 9. That is divisible by 3, of course. 3 and 9. And 9 is 3 and 3. Okay, find all your doubles. There's 1, 3 set, as there 2, and there's a 2. Okay, so I'll write it the long way. I is the square root of 2, or I times the square root of 2 squared, which just takes care of that, times 2 squared, which takes care of that, times 3 squared, which takes care of that, and times 3, which takes care of that. Okay, now anything squared comes out front because the square root of 2 squared is going to be 2, the square root of 2 squared is going to be 2, the square root of 3 squared is going to be 3, and the square root of 3 is going to be the square root of 3. So finally, 2 times 2 times 3, I times the square root of 3, and finally, 2 times 2 is 4, times 3 is 12, so it's 12I square root of 3. Here's how you check. The reason that you could bring out your 12 is because the 12 was squared on the inside. So to double check, what you do is see if 12 squared times 3, does that equal 432? And I'm going to go ahead and tell you it does. 144 times 3, it is 432. Okay, there's that. That's it. And again, you might not have to do all those steps, but I wanted to show you all of them just in case.